My name is Al Coker. I'm 63 years old, and I am the original geezer skater.
Get off my lawn!
Hi everybody, this is Nate with Geezer Skate Co. And today I'm with Al Coker of Guapo Skatepark.
OG does stand for original geezer.
That's right, and the Grindfather. So today we're going to be talking with Al about his long history with skateboarding. So Al, would you tell us how long have you been skateboarding exactly?
This year it is, and I'm afraid to say, 56 years.
56 years. So if you don't mind my asking, what age were you when you started skating? 7 years old.
So do the math, kids. Pay attention in school.
All right, we're not going to do it for you. We're going to let you work your mind in 56 plus 7. Okay.
Send all of your answers to Nate.
There may be a prize in it for you. All right, so 7 years old. So what inspired you to get on a board for the first time?
My dad did something really weird in that he brought home, this was in South America, so he had been in the United States.
Okay.
And brought home a skateboard with steel wheels. It was one of those things where I continued to do it all of my life. And then in the 70s, I remember a friend, because I'd been surfing since the late 60s. And of course, surfing and skateboarding go hand in hand, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so he brought back in 74 a set of trucks and wheels from California. And they were like the first Cadillacs, right? Stuck them on a piece of, immediately it was like, oh my God, what is this, right? Yeah. Because it wasn't on TV, it wasn't on anything, right? So we stuck it on just a piece of pine wood, and it was a revelation. It was like the Big Bang, an epiphany. It was, burning bush kind of thing. Like, oh my God, you can turn really hard. You can haul ass down. It's still ball bearing wheels, but urethane versus clay. My God, it was, like I said, it was an epiphany. And in our museum, we have actually an evolution display where people can interact and spin the wheels and feel it, but it's all an amazing difference. And, since 1974, basically, it's urethane. It's just better now, better urethane. So for me, that was one of those things where, okay, we only had one board. So went to the coast, and all of a sudden surf shops started carrying a few skateboards. So I bought a couple of boards, and we were all rolling around. And then every time we were skating, people would stop us and go, what's that? So we're like, people want this. So we bought a couple of boards down, and then we'd sell them, right? So we'd have a few extras. I thought, we should open up a shop. So the next thing, here we are. We have the skateboard shop in Valley View Mall with Don and Elaine Singer. You do something, you love it, and you're passionate about it, it's generally going to be successful. So no matter what it is, I've always told my kids that same thing, just find something you really love doing, and bang zoom, you're going to be successful with it. At least you'll be happy, and we were happy. Well, especially because all of a sudden Valley View Mall was a hot mall. Now it's being torn down.
It's so sad to drive by it now and see all the fences around it.
I have so many fond memories of being pulled. We'd get the security guards, once the thing closed, they'd get their golf carts, and we'd get little ski ropes, and we'd ski on skateboards all through the mall. What we would do, because there was no internet, there was there wasn't even fax machines, right? So you couldn't exactly, if you will, promote very easily.
Yeah.
There wasn't a forum for it. So what we did is we would go places, and we would bring a bunch of skateboards, and we'd bring kids that were in the shop. And for example, the gold buildings they were Exxon originally at the corner of Central Expressway and Northwest Highway.
Yeah.
There was only one of them at that time. They hadn't built the rest of it yet. But we would show up there, and we'd have hundreds of people, hundreds of kids and their parents that would come there. And so it'd be almost like an informal play-as-you-go sort of thing. And then next time, we happen to have a skateboard shop. So every place we went, it was like that. And it became, it just became pretty amazing. And that was like 75, 76. So, we had a lot of fun with it, and we skated everything, ditches, and then Skateboarder magazine came out right at that time, and that was, you were waiting for the next one. You were always waiting for the next one, and there weren't films. I mean, you didn't have any movies until like probably 78 or something. Like Hal Jepsen included it in a couple of surfing movies, and then he made Spinning Wheels, which was just about skateboards. Oh, wow. So, from that standpoint, it was pretty amazing. But Skateboarder magazine we realized, because we were buying stuff from California and we were communicating, that by the time that magazine came out, that was 6 months old, right? Oh, yeah. So we were always, dying for new stuff. But we were skating swimming pools, ditches, all different kinds of things. Anything, street skating back then didn't mean what it means today. That meant we were going and bombing hills, or, setting up cones and doing slalom and, just doing all the things that were fun on a skateboard. Yeah. Catamaran. Catamaran was cool because you could involve girls. And they would sit on the board, and you'd go down, and it was relatively safe until you started going really fast, and then someone would let go and you'd go all tippy canoe and, feet over butts. Texas in general has always been one of those things where there's an unspoken rivalry between Dallas, Austin, Houston, and, you're thinking, and San Antonio too. San Antonio had a great skate scene. And you would think we're all the same tribe, right? But it's still, there was this rivalry. But later on, it became much more of a sort of Texas rocks, California, Florida. We were actually probably more aligned with Florida than we were with California, because Californians had really kind of looked down Texas. And then they realized with the pros that came out of Texas just how gnarly they were. Yeah. They were as good as anybody and just had Texas attitude, right? They did. Laid back, our version of laid back is rage, right? So, when we got to skate, those were all my contemporaries. Was the first round of people, like the Shogo Kubos, Tony Alvas, Dwayne Peters was out a little after me, but all those people came through here. And so between Mad Dog and myself and a few other people, we showed them Texas hospitality, and we had a blast. I have pictures that I can't show of Tom Inouye, Wally Inouye, being subjected to the debauchery of Texas. And Mad Dog has even better stories. Mad Dog is the original Mad Dog. He was Mad Dog before Tony Alva was Mad Dog. When you have a name, Mark Dick, you have to have a better nickname, right? That's right. So he was one of my, and still is, a dear skate friend. He actually is part of Guapo, being involved with the museum, and has contributed some amazing stuff that he had. He never threw anything away, whereas I had buckets of stuff that my parents, lo and behold, don't store stuff at your parents' house after you move out. Yes, that is bad idea, because they will go, hey, this is junk. Yes. I could have financed my kids' college with the stuff they threw away. Oh, that hurts. we kept going through all of that, and then I skated really alone from about 1981 or 82 until 2000. Wow. Because I just wasn't involved in it, but I still skated. I'd go off and skate hills and alleys and ditches, and I never quit skating. I just quit the skate scene. Maybe it had something to do with, okay, I need to become an adult. Well, I still haven't become an adult. Ask my wife. But I need to at least have the semblance of trying to be an adult. And so, when my youngest son, said he wanted to get a skateboard, I'm like, all right. And so since 2001, I've been back into it hot and heavy, and then the parks started being built, like Allen. But my son and I, we went down to Houston and skated the Vans Park that was down there. And, and it's pretty funny. I've always stayed in pretty good shape and everything, but you go back and I'll instantly start thinking, I'll just drop in and skate this pool. And all of a sudden you're going, oh my God, I'm falling. I'm falling, and it takes a while to get back into it. But I have to tell you, it's been a blast, the last 17, 18 years. He skates. He has a studio here and blows glass, but he is,
Oh, wow.
A really good skater and fun to skate with. And, this whole group of ragamuffins, I guess about 11 years ago, we were skating up in Allen, and I got hit on the same day by a kid on a bike, which I was trying to figure out, how do you hit me? Were you targeting me? Is there a hitman or something? Is it someone I dated you're his kid? And, her kid, sorry about that. And then I had to bail out to avoid killing a kid. These kids were sitting in the bottom of the bowl around the corner on their scooters. They might have been playing jacks. They might have been playing with I don't know what they were doing, but I'm flying there 30 miles an hour and I have to bail. And I come out of that and I go up, and I remember talking to Greg Stubbs and I said, that's it, I'm done. We are gonna find a place. We're gonna find a piece of land. We're gonna find a warehouse. I don't care what it is. We're gonna skate. We're gonna build a place where we can skate with who we want, when we want, and not have to deal with this suburban, soccer moms dropping their kids off without telling them anything about the manners and the pecking order that skateboarding is supposed to have. There's none of that, and he goes, oh my God, you're not gonna believe this, but Havoc Skate Park, out in Arlington, which I'd only been to like once or twice, they're closing. They've lost their lease. And we got on the phone, and next thing I knew, I was buying a skate park. It's like, what did I just do? Oh wait, now they've got to be out like in a certain amount of time. So then it was, oh my God, we've got to find a spot. So we found a spot, which was less than ideal, but you know what? Skateboarding is adaptable. Yes. It's the only sport that's basically done all over the world. Any place you got a piece of concrete, you can skateboard. That's right. So from our standpoint, we found our little original slice of heaven, Guapo, and that was from all the old ladies. I apparently am really big with the 75 to 85 set in Mexico, where we had a house, telling my wife that your husband is muy guapo. So we got the Apasco dog, which was Apasco is the biggest concrete producer, which has a little symmetry in Mexico. And we just thought that was kind of a cool thing to steal. And so that ended up being the logo with Guapo. And, and we have been, to my knowledge, the longest running private skateboard park in Texas, for sure. Oh, wow. And the great thing, it didn't start out to be an altruistic sort of thing. It started out was, let's go skate, and we skate who we want, a bunch of old guys, we drink beer, and talk about how good we used to be, tell lies about all the things we used to do, and have a lot of fun, right? But it just evolved into, all of a sudden, wow, we were attracting people, and everything we've always done has been volunteerism. Me and a couple of other people that we've got an amazing group of people that we've evolved through. And I think, from my standpoint, if you look at the history of Texas skating, it's nice to be a part of that, and to be a part of, there was no Texas skate scene before we came and did it in the 70s. There just wasn't. And so, not that we did it all, but we were certainly a chunk of doing it. And even, for example, Jeff Newton, who I met in school, college, and then he got into skating, and I have actual verifiable proof that he did skate and skated really well. Well, he started Zorlac, which became one of the biggest brands, and all the top riders in Texas rode it. Craig Johnson, Jeff Phillips, Dan Wilkes, John Gibson, all those guys that are, unfortunately Jeff's not with us, but were amazing and still are amazing skaters. So from that standpoint, if you look at the evolution, we were the first, they were the second, and now you've got all these guys that are just ripping, these young guys, and now they skate everything. They don't just skate street, they don't just skate vert, but they can do everything. They can skate everything. And that's what's so cool, is the evolution has become where I think it's healthier and better than it ever has been.
I'd say so.
And you see the profusion of new parks. Plano just opened one.
Yes.
I'm not even going to mention that I've been trying to get the city of Dallas to open a park, build a park, since the 70s. I'm not going to mention that, okay?
Unmentioned.
Well, because the sixth largest city in the United States apparently can't figure out, I didn't say that, can't figure out how to do it. And that was part of the reason too we did Guapo. It's like, hey, we can show you what we've done on a skeleton budget. See that? What's exciting too is that this space provided a way to take the collection of skateboards and turn it into a museum. And I was on the phone yesterday with a guy in Houston who is going to be sending us images, but I'm asking people to, send me pictures of your old spots. Send me, just write down a few sentences, because I think it would be fun to have sort of a litany about everybody's experience.
Yeah.
Because I'm only going to be able to speak to the Dallas experience.
Right.
So being able to call it the Texas Skateboard Museum means that it's going to be a little bit more expansive. And it will be an evolution. It will not always be static. We want to have interaction. We want to have the Texas pool sharks. We want to have, more things that get people involved. And I think from a community standpoint, skateboarding to me is something that kids that have low self-esteem, kids that have even behavioral problems. You know what? Not everybody's a team sport person. Not everybody's going to fit into the mold of, I've got to be in soccer or football or, skateboarding is something, hey, guess what? You can do it by yourself. And I remember Julian in the back driveway, you just hear this ka-chunk, 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 because he was learning how to ollie, right? And it's that thing. And it was like the pocket in Walter Mitty, right? But it was the skateboard being ollie. For me, I was a kid that, no one was going to exactly pick to be well, let's take the really little kid over there and have him be on the team, So for me, skateboarding and surfing, but skateboarding before surfing was something that I loved to do. And I was like, hey, I'm not bad at this. I can actually do this. Doing the shop gave me a tremendous amount of confidence. And it's one of those things that you see it. We've had kids that have grown up at Guapo now, 10 or 11 years, that were little kids, and now they've gone on and we've done mentorships. We've, I think,
awesome.
had a lot of people that have come up to us and say, look, I'm going to school, or, ask for advice. And I think we've made better citizens, because you have to be a good citizen. It's like the old saying, if you catch somebody doing something right, like you catch a kid throwing trash away, give him a sticker, give him a t-shirt. Then he goes up and the other kids are going like, hey, where'd you get that? They come up and go, I want that. Well, go do something positive. Do something that is really good. Do something that's selfless. And guess what? They do it. So, and I think particularly when we first started, we had a lot of kids that were probably, more latchkey kids that they could get on dart. And there were no parks except for Allen. Yeah. So we had kids that would ride dart all the way down to Deep Ellum. And from that standpoint, I don't know, we were like the Pied Piper or Captain Hook. I'm not sure which one, but, I like to think that we've been a positive force. And, like I said, I know that I have talked to a lot of kids, and later on they come back and we see that they've been the first one in their families to go to college, or the first one to buy a house in their family, or, things like that are, pretty cool. They warm your heart.
Yeah.
And it makes it more than just, hey, rolling around.
Right.
But let's face it, rolling around is what it's all about. That's the best part. And, we have a saying here at Guapo that the best skater is the one having the most fun. And I would basically challenge anybody to say they're having more fun than me.
I would challenge that too, because this guy here, I've been out here on the Tuesday night, the old man skate sessions on Tuesday night, and it's just awesome to see you with these guys, who are, older. They're like us, they're geezers, but then, you come in there and you're so happy, man. It's
well,
awesome
you know what? It's pure joy, right?
Yeah.
It's that only a skater knows the feeling,
Right,
because
yeah.
It's hard to describe to people. But I will tell you, on Sunday, last Sunday, a friend called, and I had already been up here in the morning, and my wife goes, go, because she really likes Jack, and he was bringing a daughter, and I gave a skate lesson. And this girl, probably mid-20s, she had a penny board and this other board that she'd bought from The Point. Hey, shameless plug for The Point. Skate shop. I want some free stuff. So anyway, I gave her a lesson, and she was a natural, and she was hooked. And it was a blast, passing on that stoke and seeing her, because, the little slope, all of a sudden, because I was holding her, taking her down, doing all that, and all of a sudden, okay, it's time to fly free. And she was terrified, and then she did it. And then after that, it's like, my work is done, Yeah. She was really happy, and she hadn't fallen, and she's coming back for we have Sunday afternoons, I think from 2 to 6 is our girls' night, girls skate free. If you look at the history, you'll see you had Farrah Fawcett, which was one of the most popular posters at Spencer's Gifts. right across the street, right across the hall from us in Valley View. But, you know, girls have been skating ever since there have been skateboards.
That's true.
It's just they're just now, I think, feeling more comfortable. And
It's
they're made to feel
amazing
more
see,
comfortable.
you know, there's so many female pros now.
Oh, yeah, that there is a pro thing. I mean, it's a,
Yeah.
you know, skateboarding's never been bigger.
Yeah.
And you have the whole debate of, is it an art? Is it a sport? Should it be in the Olympics? Should it be, you know, it means that more people are going to skate, more people are going to have fun. So if that's what it means, that's what it takes, I'm all for it, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, I was a pro. It just took until last year when they did the Grindfather model. It took me, you know, what, 55 years to get a pro model. Yeah.
And
It's never too late, man.
actually, let's talk a little bit about the Grindfather model. So who put that out for you?
Justin McGuffin.
Okay, yes.
Justin, and I want to throw out some, I'm not going to mention everyone, but Justin McGuffin, Glenn Bukowski, and Julian Metcalf they really run Guapo. I'm really, it's kind of great. I'm like the chairman emeritus now. He wanted to take this photograph. You know, I want a picture of you in a suit. And I'm like, what? You know, okay. So he did that, and never saw anything. And then all of a sudden, he brings this board. And what he had done is he'd taken the original Mario Puzo cover for the Godfather, and it was the movie poster as well, and turned it into the Grindfather. And so he made that study, and I still have that board. He doesn't know it. And then last fall, I believe, right before or right after, anyway, we did the Grindfather series of 50 boards and sold out. Should have done 100, but you know, with 50, it's more exclusive.
Yeah.
But so, you know, to me, that's very cool. And I'm getting ready to do something. I've been doing these, I've been recycling old boards, and I've been doing tribute boards to, whether it's been Zorlac or tribute boards to surfboards, and I'm having a lot of fun with it because I finally get to use my art degree for something, right? And so what I'm doing is I've come across a few, if you will, old school boards that have never been set up, and they're in great shape. So I'm going to do a limited series of Grindfather, just custom one-offs.
Nice. People want to help out, keep this going here. How can they help? What can they do to?
Well, buy our gear, guaposkateboards.com, Guapo on Instagram, on Facebook. Also follow us because we're getting dangerous. Also, we have a YouTube channel that we finally resurrected, and we are dangerously close to being able to monetize it. I think we're like at, I don't know, 2,000 people is what we need, or anyway.
Oh, wow.
But
Great.
we need donations of all sorts, whether it's building materials, whether it's cash, whether it's, you know, illegal funds. We'll pretty much take anything that Guapo is good for skating. We certainly have been involved with the skate scene since the 70s, which was the beginning of the skate scene in Texas. And hopefully in my dotage, which is rapidly approaching, you know, we will continue to be a force and part of the skate scene in Texas and in Dallas.
So Al, I think I did the math correctly. So if I'm not mistaken, you are 63 years old.
Right.
So how long do you see yourself continuing to skate?
It depends on how long my wife's going to let me. I just had a friend get his hip replaced, not from skateboarding, horseback riding.
Oh, wow.
You know, I don't know. I think I'm selective about what I skate, and I don't catch air anymore because I'm not allowed to. And I almost broke my pelvis a few years ago. And so I try not to skate like a total old guy, but I have a lot of fun. And I think as long as I'm having fun, I don't want to put a number on it, but why can't I roll around and go down a couple of hills? You know, I mean, I may not be able to skate vert. I may not be able to skate pools, you know, but, you know, so far, you know, knock wood, genuine wood, you know, so far, I think staying healthy and stretching and taking care of yourself, and I've always done that. And skating is great exercise. So, you know,
really is.
I don't know. So from that standpoint, I don't know. As long as I don't have to get into knee replacements and hip replacements and all that kind of stuff. But I see people on the internet going, well, I just had my knees replaced and hip replaced and I'm back skating. And I'm like, whoa. Wow. So, you know, technology, I could be skating till I'm 100.
That's true.
I just don't want to outlive my money. So that might be, yes. You know, I only be doing this for another couple of weeks. So, you know, it's, I don't want to put a number on it, but I feel great and I love skating and I'm going to keep doing it. Like I said, I do pad up like the Michelin Man now. And I no longer skate in 70s technology helmet. I have a real helmet because after bonking my head and then putting my helmet on later that week and bonking my head through my helmet, I was going, I need to get a real helmet. This one looks cool, but apparently does not work very well. So.
Oh, wow.
So when it comes to helmets, new technology is better. Don't try to look cool, kids. Be safe.
Here. I want to talk a little bit about the Texas skate scene. You mentioned Zorlac. So you knew Jeff Newton from the beginning.
Yes, from before the beginning. Jeff was he wasn't the creator, but he was the creator, and he really ran and managed Free Flight Skatepark, which was one of the skate parks built in the late 70s in Dallas.
Okay.
At the corner of Beltline and I-35, no longer in existence, but still in our memories. But Free Flight there were about 4 different parks running around at that time. There was Wizards. There was, I think it was Skate USA in Irving, and there was Mid-Cities. And Mid-Cities was a miserable, like skating ditches was better than skating Mid-Cities. But wow. We still went to Mid-Cities because you had to support everything, right?
That's right, yeah.
But
otherwise they take it away.
I met Jeff at Richland Junior College.
Wow, okay.
And then later on, we re-met through skating. And, you know, we got pictures of him skating the rat hole, all these different things. But then he started Zorlac. And this is one of the first two Zorlac boards ever made that were hand-drawn. And I have pictures over here of him with the other one, the sister of that. And this is a t-shirt that he's hand-screened. And then Zorlac really was the Texas brand and continued for many, many years with all the top guys rode Zorlac, and Zorlac probably has a place in a lot of people's heart all over the skate world. We continually see people that are, every time I post a Zorlac board, I get like 1,000 likes.
Yes.
And again, it's, you know, it's really seminal to the skate scene. And, you know, there was Benjamin, there were lots of other companies back in the 70s, but really Zorlac started really at about 1980, 79, 80. And that's kind of what I see the transition from, you know, boards and what we were doing into, you know, the 80s that continued. And now you've got, you know, Cockfight and golly, there's just Embassy. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But you know, again, too many rides without a helmet, so you know, I don't have a great memory sometimes. And then, you know, Mad Dog Dick, all the guys like Craig Johnson, you know, Dan Wilkes, John Gibson, and that list goes on and on and on. You know, I have to shout out to Mike Kelly and Carrie who built all this stuff for us. The best builders, period. Also, amazing guys, just great guys. They have been a giant help to us. This space and then the old space as well. So when you talk about the scene, probably I'm not the best person to talk about the 80s scene, just simply because by about 81 or 82, I had gone into my self-imposed hiatus. Mark continued for a while, and then he founded DARPA, the Dallas Off-Road
Bike Association.
Yeah, and of course, Mark, being the amazing athlete that he is, got tired of doing mountain bike trails on mountain bikes. So now he does them on unicycles.
I saw him on a unicycle last time I was up here.
Yeah,
I was like,
Al, you need to get on this unicycle. I'm like, no, 4 wheels. 4 wheels, please. One giant wheel just does not do it for me.
No.
I see a major death involved there.
Yeah.
But Mark, like I said, Mark continued for a while. And, you know, at that time in the early 80s and late 70s, we had all the pros that were coming. We had one of the nicest guys, Shogo Kubo was here, Dennis Martinez, Chris Stropel, all of those guys came through here. And so we were, we had fun skating with them. And we'll start including a lot of those pictures. I've gotten them sort of cataloged now.
Now, Mad Dog was telling me a rumor, and so you can confirm or deny or claim no knowledge of this, that the name Zorlac came from you.
Maybe. I'm not going to take credit for it. It was a collective decision.
Okay. We'll grant that. So,
but Mad Dog's memory is better than mine. But I'm not going to confirm, not going to deny, but I'm going to say Mad Dog's memory is better than mine.
Okay. Well, we'll put him on the spot.
How's that? Is that good? I should be in politics.
Yes. So you've talked about padding up and everything. So have you had skateboarding? I'm sure you've had a pretty gnarly injury of a time or two.
The worst thing, I think, the worst thing was back years ago when we were still riding, I think they might have been ball bearing wheels, yeah. And I had a Bane skateboard, like the fiberglass one over there. And we were at these big hills in Arlington. Houses hadn't even been built on them. And I think it's called interlocking.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wearing the latest in safety gear, which was a pair of Vans, which just come out.
Oh, wow.
And a bathing suit. And we were skating down this hill, and we'd get a car to go behind you to see how fast we were going. So got up to about 37, 38. And, man, that was a rush. But I kind of reached the max speed I could get just by gravity. So of course, I was the precursor to toe-in surfing, where they tow people into huge waves. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold on to the back of the car and get me going up to about 10 miles an hour, and then I'll let go. Bad idea. So I'm flying along, and at the top of the hill, I'm going, this is pretty okay. I'm not having any problems. And then about midway through, I'm going like, oh my God, I am going faster than I've ever gone. And I could see in the back seat, people going, and so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to crouch down and grab the nose, and then I'm going to put my foot, I'm going to try to slow down with the tip of my shoe. Guess what? At 45, 46 miles an hour, you know what happens to the bottom of a shoe?
It disintegrates.
It tears off. You know how hard it is to tear off the sole of a skate shoe? Pretty much impossible. And so that's when it all went bad. And they said, oh, it was so cool. You flew parallel to the road for about 10 or 15 feet, it looked like. Then you hit and skipped and flew down again. I'm like, so I ended up with basically taking all the skin off my one whole side of my body. And then when I'm picking myself up and I'm like going, I was sort of in shock. It hurt so bad, but I'm pulling little chunks of gravel out of my, so I'm like going, okay, take me to 7-Eleven. They're like, what? And I got 2 quarts of beer and chugged it. And this was when they had changed the drinking age to 18 versus 21. So I wasn't doing anything illegal. You'll never pin that rap on me. Well, what happened, I did that, and we had the shop at that time. Just opened it. And my mom made me these like balloon pants that I could wear on one, it looked like it was really weird looking. But that was probably the worst. I've broken ribs. I broke both my wrists, but I didn't know it until 20 years later.
Holy cow.
Because all I did was put duct tape on and, kept skating. And, no one said I was the brightest penny in the pack, okay? But not now. Now I wear pads. No, and actually there were no pads. We had soccer pads that you'd take a run, and by the time you got halfway through your run, they were around your ankles. So your ankles were really well protected, right? So when pads came out, Rector and a few other things, we hardly endorsed them. We were like, yeah, this is great. but they sucked. I mean, but they were better than just landing on concrete. You know, we got gardening gloves and sewed, you know, glued stuff to them, and which now people have slide gloves, right?
Yeah,
but, you know, we were just doing it because we needed something. Because then we were doing burts and we were skating ditches, and oh man, put my hand down, and you know, it's mother. You know, in necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
So you know, so yeah, I've had a few things, and but I think considering the longevity, I think I've come through pretty well. I know a couple of concussions when one where I broke a helmet. That was in the 70s.
Holy cow.
And yeah, but luckily I had it. Otherwise I'd have a dribble cup and we wouldn't be doing this.
Thank goodness.
You know, so.
Oh man.
So I'm a big proponent of wearing safety gear. You know, I think that, I know it's not cool. You know, you see a lot of pros don't wear it, but then you see the guys that skate vert and stuff, they pretty much all wear it.
Oh yeah, Tony Hawk, Christian Soy still rocking the pads.
Yeah.
Steve Caballero.
Hey, and guess what? And they're all way younger than me.
They are, they are.
It's like any gravity sport, right? If you play with gravity, at some time it's going to play back. You know, whether it's skiing, skateboarding, surfing, snowboarding, you're going to fall. I mean, you just have to plan that you have to learn how to fall and minimize the damage. And sometimes people get hurt trying not to fall. You know, it's like, hey, just let it go, roll with it.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Yeah, that's where you get the most hurt is when you stiffen up. Yeah.
Or when a kid throws his razor in front of you. I didn't know I could ollie until that happened. True story. I was skating down at Mabel Davis down in Austin, and it was overrun with kids on scooters, and I was dropping into that little bowl there, which is a gnarly little bowl, and this kid throws his scooter in front of me. And all I remember is I didn't hit it. I jumped over it, and I was like, wow, I can ollie. I didn't even know I could do that. Never been able to ollie again, but again, it's amazing what fear will do to you. You know, they say you can have superhuman strength. You know, people are always saving people, you know.
That's true, yeah, yeah. And
so I saved my ass once.
Holy cow. Well, all right, Al, appreciate your time today. This has been really informative, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning about as much as I did. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and check out one of these other videos coming up next. That's good. It'll be like Frankenstein together.
Don't forget to hit that
It'll sound like
bell
Siri.
and give us a thumbs up.